So we did have this kind of persistent rollover, but slow. And then we had a big, stick save there mid-December, but it really, really just could not get above. And it rolled right over with a gap down. And the last 2 weeks have been very, very productive. So this was it. It was definitely the 200-day shimmy for lots and lots of time. But I really felt comfortable that this trend line was going to bust. So it has. You know what's happening. We got the dollar finally moving higher. And I said it has to happen. And it has to happen soon, or else the weight of this will start to roll over. And there we go. All right. So we're up to 103.5. Absolutely not a surprise. I'm still expecting 104. So this dollar index is bullish, and that's a headwind for equities.
This short clip is presented by Club. Club provides access to Samantha LaDuc and her team of professional macro and micro traders, analysts, and educators. Club is ideal for active traders, investors, and institutions who want Samantha's best-of-breed market timing calls across all asset classes and time frames like chase, swing, and trend. Get the trade before it happens. Sign up Club now and get full access to daily live trading room with Samantha LaDuc, Slack trading desk with detailed analysis and trades, custom trade support when you need it, and much more. For more information, visit www.LaDucTrading.com/club.
And then over here to yields, we got to do yields because they're, two peas in a pod. There's that 3.8 bounce. Perfect. We had a 4.1 tag, and then it looked like it was going to roll over. And I said yesterday, I don't think so. Why? Because there's too much selling underneath the surface. So that's happening. But there's a third reason, very important reason, and that's the dollar yen. That is so firmly above 145. It hit 147 yesterday. Anyway, the result of the combination, number one, dollar moving higher, yields moving higher, as expected. The dollar yen, remember I said this was 5 levels of daily resistance. It tagged, it came back in, did not break the 8 of the 21, got above, and then took a little while, right? Now it's on top of the 5 levels of resistance, and now it's getting above. That's it. And then when did I say this literally, this 145, this 146 tagged on Monday, and I literally said, we will have a pullback by the 18th. 18th is tomorrow. It's starting right now, but we will have it by the 18th. It's working. All right, so that's one reason, the dollar, the yield, the dollar yen. All right, so this was that left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and I said it has to execute by the 18th. I really see the market falling by the 18th. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And it's the 17th. We're here. This is oil. Again, I'm not bullish until we can get back above 75.65. And this is the 2-year coming on down. This is the 10-year coming on down, but they have not broken the channels. So we need to break this 102 for the 2-year, and we're already about ready to break the 111 for, and remember the TLT and FXY, those shorts, that's working. So let's go to this indicator. This is that indicator I mentioned. Anytime this is above 250, right, it's bearish the market, even though the market didn't know it yet. And below it's bullish. So we're leaving these levels in place because I think they really, really help. This is, again, dollar yield indicator that I basically use for telling this direction that's coming, and it has corresponded inversely with this guy. Pre-market, so you don't see what it really, really is. There's a dollar yen. Effect intervention at some point because they've already come in. The Bank of Japan right here back in October 22, and right here, obviously this November 1st time frame, which also was coordinated with Fed and Treasury. We do know that. Here's your spread. It's starting to roll over. Here's your SPY. It's starting to roll over. Here's your inverse volatility. It's starting to roll over. Only thing that hasn't is NASDAQ, even though Apple and Tesla have been really hurt. Remember the pressure that's on gold. I don't think it's going to fall apart. Again, it's still a choppy trend long. But as it relates to chasing this short, remember you've got 2009 as a really, really key level of shenanigans here. Below it is bearish. Above is bullish. You got to still use that level. So this is exactly what's happening with the dollar yuan and the dollar yen. Very, very, very strong. Advance, which is putting a lot of pressure on dollar and yield, which is causing my indicator percolate not just back above the 250, but now firmly above the moving average that I basically cherry picked. And now you've got this inverse. This is SPY inverse this head and shoulders is starting to really form now. I still think we get chop into the end of January, but nonetheless, it's making for some pretty good selling opportunities if you're still with me. And here we have that steepener that just did a quick 180. Big picture, I still see this 2 and 10 year coming back down to 0.6. We are in negative gamma. This is my price target, that 47.30. We are in negative gamma. We will, of course, have some reason to buy, right? This is the 47.30. That's the 47.10 I talked about yesterday. It's a working. This 47.50 is that trigger for the negative gamma. We get here, it gets offended, right? We're down here. So wouldn't surprise me if we go back and fill this, honestly, not even a little bit at some point. We got to see the turn. But with this now being firmly below 47.50, it absolutely sets up more selling to 47.10 and then potentially all the way down to 46.60. All right, so just to review the XLE for ya, we have 79.80 is the next area, and of course it bounces, but these are still, in my estimation, swing shorts. I love this bounce area, though. I got to tell you, this is not unexpected, not unexpected at all. Look at this perfect tag. What's the low? 79.70. And I swagged it and said, we'll probably hit 80 first, bounce, but this is really what I'm looking for next is this 79.11. So obviously it's bouncing. I mean, perfect tag. 79.80, the perfect 100 week. It's also the Keltner channel, yada, yada, yada. But big picture, that's a gap down. You know how I feel about that. TLT, still playing with that 94.5. I still see 93.60. So shorts are working as it relates to the whole thesis of dollar moving higher with yields. So that means FXY, TLT moving lower. XLE is a completely different thesis. It has nothing to do with dollar and yields, nothing to do with dollar and yields. And we're sitting here at 47.30 on the 21, just sitting here. Wouldn't be surprised if they come in and, right, they're just underneath that negative gamma if they come in and support it, but we're still in distribution, which is honestly, price action is overbought, not broken. The fact that BABA is on 68 monthly support. So I know some of you are playing those puts. It is not bullish until it can get and stay, back above this 74. The whole complex is still weak. It doesn't have, it has, demographic issues. It has property value issues. It's trying to stimulate the capital markets. It's not working. It's not like the US as it relates to, debt to GDP and all that fiscal dominance stuff. It's communist. They can do whatever they want. But the point is, we have a big divergence here with the valuation of Chinese stocks, which are exceedingly cheap, wicked cheap, with a market that does not have any support yet of buying. Think oil. So remember the fundamentals of oil? Oh my God, this is the perfect, I hope you forgive me for doing this, but I'm going to compare China to the oil market. We have no interest in China. It's uninvestable. And without that, you can't get any buying. Simple. Same thing with oil right now. We have an administration with obviously a negative fossil fuel policies. And it's very hard for the valuations of these oil and gas companies to rise. Same thing. Policies dictate price and open interest. And there isn't enough open interest in China plays or in oil and gas plays. It's pretty much the same thing. Once that changes, things will get busy because the valuations in China stocks are stupid low, right? Stupid low, but the macro won't allow them to go up. And honestly, I could say the same thing about oil and gas plays. They're not stupid low, but they're definitely undervalued relative to tech and healthcare and all the rest, right? So just be patient, but we don't have any interest yet in oil or in China plays. They're tradable, but they're not ready to move. So Having said that, 68 is monthly support. So that was a nice little bullish engulfing. It followed through to the 10-week. 10-week got rejected, rolled over, and here we are, 68. Doesn't look ready yet, but it could sit here for a little bit, right? If we break 68, it's going to 58. These are monthly levels. And big picture, I know you hate this, but this was a stupid little, line, but I loved it on the monthly. Look at this. Okay, so here's your BABA, right? And this is, of course, peak hubris into the 2021, into the post-COVID ramp in equities. They just kept selling China plays and buying Bitcoin. Anyway, point is, here we have this like rollover from the apex. Look at the 10, still rolling over. The 21, still rolling over. We had no cross. We had one attempt right here. It was a beautiful thing, but it didn't last. And it completely unwound. We're sitting on the Keltner channel though, and we're at monthly support, but we've been here. We've been all the way down to 58, 68, 58, not hard to imagine, right? So, oh yeah, even back in 15, 16. So yes, it's very, 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 from a valuation standpoint, oversold, but there's no interest. It's dead to the US investment community. And until it gets some interest, it's only a trade. So we do have some Keltner channel support on a monthly. We do have 68 as a monthly. Let's see if we get some buying. Now back here, I don't know if you remember this, but there was massive, massive central bank intervention back in the October. And then it flowed into November. And it actually first happened with Bank of Japan in September on the 22nd. And then again, that was September 22nd and then October 21st. And that's what really turned the whole market around because Fed and Treasury also came in. US dollar swaps with Switzerland came in and the PBOC came in and they started to do a lot of the same thing. And that created liquidity into the market, which created a very nice candidate for a bounce in the China plays. Remember, I have this on a monthly. It still couldn't get back above the 10 and 21. So it's in a broken, it's in a downtrend, an extended downtrend. But this is support, right? So 68 is bouncing for all the day chasers out there. But big picture, it's busted. It is a defined downtrend. Now, if we ever do get some, again, maybe the PBOC, the Bank of China comes in and does this easing again, or RRR, reserve requirement, whatever, then yes, if we get some liquidity in, we can have some real nice kind of tradable swing themes. But big picture, every time this has come up to 120 in recent years, and I know if you're a longtime client, I've said this repeatedly, the massive puts that come in at 120 is impressive. Massive puts come in at 120. So your real level of buy this for a long-term hold kind of investment thesis is make sure it can get back above 120. Until then, 68 breaks 58. Like SPX targets for today, I already gave them yesterday. I said 47.30 to 47.10. So I still think we're going to hit this 47.10. And then I think we're actually going to take that out and head down to about 46.70, 47.12 to 4700. But keep in mind something, this 47.50 volatility trigger is no joke. They have come in and defended this. Oh my gosh. So just remember that level is still very, very important. This is not going to make it above 47.38 with this kind of energy. Look at this from 250 up to 265. Look at my indicator. BABA is on that 68 and having a modest bounce. I don't think it's safe yet. Nope. A little intraday bounce is nothing. It has continued right down into that 68 price target. So I would not be surprised if we fill and head back into that 47.54 area. There's your 47.30. We bounce and then we can go down to the next level.
Subscribe to LaDuc Trading YouTube channel for more live trading room recap videos and other content.